Welcome to another video from Tesla Tidbits here. This video is going to detail the installation of a BlackVue 650 camera setup on my Model S. Credit goes out to Reddit user King Kondo. He posted an Imager thread on how he did it. I will link the Imager thread in the description of the show here, because without that I would not be doing this. So here is everything you're going to need to do the job. You'll need some spudgers, some electrical crimps, the butt connectors to go with said crimps, believe it or not, a fan extension cable for a PC, some zip ties, and not pictured right now is some electrical tape that I forgot to throw on the table. But first, there is one very, very important thing you're going to have to do to figure out if you can follow this video. That super important thing is hiding under the grill for your microphone for the Bluetooth speaker. In here, if everything is going well for you, you'll find a blue piece of tape under which is hard to see. Do the light. I'm doing my best here because it's dark and it's nighttime. A 12-volt power connector. A male, I believe, 12-volt power connector. Let's have a look at this guy a little closer. A note to you, when you pull this down, this will make a bit of a clunking sound when you pull it out. Yes, this is a male 12-volt power connector. So that will come into play a little bit later. Now that you've validated that you have this thing, let's connect up that little fan extension that you got, just to make sure that it works right. We eventually will lose that end of it right there. And make sure that you got the part that you need, and if everything is right there, we can continue with this installation. Now that we've validated all of that, there is one other thing here. So this is an installation that is going to be done on a Model S with Autopilot version 1 hardware and the panoramic roof. So I know for sure that this installation is going to be impacted if you don't have the panoramic roof, because a lot of what's going to be done to feed the cable to the back relies on that roof. So if you don't have the panoramic roof, you're probably going to want to stop here. If you have a Model X, definitely stop here. I don't know of any way to help you there. But, assuming that you have a Model S, and assuming that you have a panoramic roof, I don't think your mileage is going to vary much if you have Autopilot 2 hardware, because there's very little that the Autopilot hardware matters for. You should be okay there. And if you don't have Autopilot hardware, then your life just got a lot easier, actually. After I started that the other night, there was yet another thing I needed, and that is this. So your mileage may vary, but I guess what's going on is there is a voltage regulator in some of the BlackVue cameras in the cigarette adapter. And if that's not there, it won't work. So, $4 or so I think later I paid for this. Now I've got a female cigarette adapter that I can plug that into. We're going to lop these ends off right here, put them together with the other side, and away we go on our fan extension. Okay then, so once you take your fan connector and your female cigarette lighter adapter, you're going to wire these guys together. Now these aren't taped yet because I want to go test it in the car first before taping everything down more permanently. But you'll kind of look like this. One important thing to note is you're going to actually plug this into the car, and you need to line up the wires with what color they are and where the hot wires are on the Tesla. So the ground, obviously, on the Tesla is going to be the black. You're going to have a random green wire that does nothing for us, and then the color of the wire seems to vary as to what the hot wire color is. For me, very counterintuitively, the black wire on this lines up to the hot wire on the Tesla. Again, your mileage may vary. Let's go test this thing out. Okay, so we've got our little wiring job hooked up to the car. We're going to plug this guy in. Now I am going to warn you guys, it does take its sweet time to actually power up. This camera is not quick to boot. So if everything went well, we'll hear in a second here, BlackVue for your safe driving, starting normal recording. Let's see what we hear. Can't really get a good view of the camera from here because it hides nicely, but you can kind of see it there in between my GoPro mount.
BlackVue for your safe driving. Starting normal recording.
That's the stuff. So we've got it wired up right. So we'll go ahead and take this apart. We'll get it all taped up so it's not all got wires hanging out, because these wires up here, you don't want them just kind of hanging out there. And we're going to tape the butt connectors up too, just so they're not kind of hanging loose like that, give them a little more support. So let's get it all done, and then we'll start tucking things away. Alright, so next up is getting this guy off, is eventually we're going to pull from the camera up here. That's where we're going to pull our power and the cable for the rear camera to connect that up. So take your little tool here, slip him in there, and he just pops right down like that, and that is it. So that's the next thing up. You can kind of see the autopilot heatsink in there, but that's it for this one, and then we'll go on to the next little bit here in a second. Alright, so next up, now that we've got this guy down, you've seen how to do this already earlier in the video. We got to get our little claw up here, as we have to pull our power cable and our data cable through from up this side, and that's kind of where we're going to stuff it here. So get this guy in here, and if all goes well, it will come out the top just like that. Alright, so now that we've got this guy through, and we're going to rinse and repeat this, but one at a time, you're going to have to pull your power cable and your data cable for the rear camera through here so they're hanging out here. So get it to grab your guy here, and with any luck, you should just be able to pull this guy right down on through. You can see him there. And there we are. That's one, and then I'll rinse and repeat for the other one. Alright, so next up, we got the power cable and the data cable here, but now we got to get our power connector through there. So same exact idea, we're going to stuff that up through there and pull it back, and then we're going to have 3 cables hanging out of here. And then I'll show you what we do with these next. Alright, so now that we've got all of our stuff through here, we got our data, our power, and our other power, we got to get them the power to the camera and the data through. And the way we do this is feed this through where we already pulled the autopilot housing down. You can kind of push down here, you heard the little clip, not a big deal, and grab with your fingers up front. And what you should be able to do is shove this guy back on through, and eventually grab him. There we go. There's one. And just as before, we will rinse and repeat. When it's all done, it looks like this. You got the camera already mounted up here, and then we got the lines coming down through the ceiling here. Now, you'll note I still do have the autopilot housing detached for the moment. That's just precautionary to make sure that I don't have any, you don't want to put everything back together until you're sure it works. So that's why that's still down. Okay. So you're going to be tempted to do this because you want your stuff to look real nice and neat, but you need to stuff this up here, and while there is room up there, there's not enough room to fit this giant bundle of cord. So don't do what I just did. So we'll cut this off, and I will rerun this again. So once you get everything stuffed back in there, this is what you end up with. Alright, so now we're on to the hard part. As you can see, all we have left is our camera cable that's got to go all the way to the back of the car for the rear camera. If you have the single camera version of this, congratulations, you're done. For the rest of us, though, that like pain, we got to route this camera cable. The first part of this is going to be easy. Basically, we're just going to tuck it into the same little crease that we stuck the power cable into. And it's going to follow that all the way back behind the support bar for the middle of the roof. Okay, your next spot that might be a little bit troublesome is right here. You're going to have to feed this back through here and having an extra person will help. Thank you, Mom. Getting it through there will put you under the crossbeam right here, and the person on the other side can feel with their fingers, or you if you want to sit in the back seat and try and finger around there, and then you'll be able to pull it through. And then you end up with what I've got in the back seat here, the line dangling down. Alright, so next up, we're almost there. We're 3/4 of the way back to the trunk where we need to be. We've got to get this guy through into here. And the way we're going to do that is exactly what you're looking at here. There's a little piece here that, unfortunately, I'm out of beer and I can't drink away my sorrows of what happens if I accidentally screw this up. But we should be able to pull this down, and we only need to get it down just far enough to get our claw tool in there to yank our cable. Okay, in the interest of time and my frustration, I saved all the time to show you exactly how this works. So you'll see that this comes back up through here now, and having a tool that has the light on the end definitely helps, because when you're trying to feed this through here, you can actually see the light when you're feeding it through. Don't be shy on this guy. This guy comes out pretty well. So you can see how far it comes out. It will make a snap. Again, if you're drinking some beer, that'll help you not to worry about that snap. But we are most of the way home now. Alright, so next up, we gotta get this piece of plastic off, because we're gonna stick our camera right about here. And we're gonna have to be able to feed our wire to it. So, according to what I've read, this is simply a matter of pulling off. No harm, no foul, doesn't even really sound that bad. Now that we got this through here, we're just gonna take this opportunity to route this guy right through here, out to the back. And that's it for that. Alrighty, now that we've got that hanging out here, we just gotta jump one little gap here to the top, and we're gonna mount our camera up to the middle here, and that'll be it. Next thing up we need to do, and I won't picture this because that'll just be boring anyway, is we're gonna go ahead and clean the window with some alcohol before we stick the camera on. Okay, I know this is a terrible shot, but I'm doing it to illustrate a point. If it looks like I'm laying down in the trunk of my Tesla, it's because I am laying down in the trunk of my Tesla, and I'm losing light. But the point being is this is the absolute best way to install the rear view camera. So fold down your back seats, look straight up at the ceiling, and then turn the live view of the camera on so you can make sure that you're getting the best angle for what you're looking for. Trust me, you will thank yourself for doing it this way. Because this is the view that you get for doing that. And you can, hey, there I am reflecting in the mirror, or in the window. But as you can see, it gives you a great view up there to plug in the camera. We are almost done. This is just a matter of tucking away some wires and buttoning everything up now. Alrighty, home stretch time. We've fed this up. This is the only kind of ugly spot you're going to have where it's jumping this gap. They give us, and I don't know if you can see them very well, they give you these little clippy guys here, and they make perfect little things to mount this up. And as you can see what I've done, I've just kind of ran the excess cable back and forth a couple times and then zip tied it together. All that's left, snap the plastic piece back on, and this project's done. And much as with the seating of the camera, this is probably your best bet in putting the trim back on here. Let's pop these guys in there. Make sure everybody's tucked away. Hanging out here. Make sure you're all pushed in, and that's gonna be it. So that's it for this installation. I would highly suggest you have, this took me, now I'm not by any stretch of the imagination someone that is handy, so that should tell you that you can do this. Don't think that you can't. This is not actually that hard. It will be time consuming. Everything that I've done here between mounting the cameras, which you actually didn't see, and everything that you did see was about a total, I'd say, of 5 hours worth of work for me, depending on how good you are with tools and such and routing things. Your mileage may vary, and hopefully this video will help take down that time too, because there was a lot of stuff that I just had to figure out. So anyway, that's it. Thanks again for everyone for supporting me. Again, head on over to patreon.com/teslatidbits if you like this content. Thanks again to the super patrons that support me at the $10 plus level. I will definitely have them on a card at the end of this. Again, super appreciate you guys. Until next time, take it easy, keep it charged, and hit the road.